Hey, what's up guys? In this video we're going to talk about the pros and cons to living right here in Carlsbad, California. We're on another little walk, little lunchtime break with Marla. Marla, say hi, honey. She's panting. It's mid-April. My kids are on spring break. It's over 90 degrees right now here in Carlsbad. That's abnormally warm if you're not familiar. And that's what I want to talk about first is the weather. The weather can be an absolute benefit. I mean, people talk about it all the time. San Diego has the best weather. Carlsbad is no different, incredible weather, but it has extremes that if you're not used to it, if you're coming from the desert, you're coming from the mountains, this can feel really hot right now when we have our heat advisory come in and we're over 90 degrees in April. Gosh, in the winter, our fountain in our backyard froze. And so obviously, you're dropping down under 32 degrees. So, the weather's incredible, but it's not this mythical, perfect everyday type of weather. And I don't think people talk about that quite enough. But at the end of the day, you still are getting more sunshine than ever. Marla's trying to trip me with a leash. Next up, people talk about, hey, our beaches are incredible in Carlsbad, the parks, the trails like the one I'm on right now, absolutely cool. We have, great areas to spend a lot of time with your family, running, all different types of exercising. The beaches, although they may not have the best surf breaks, there's just a ton of great places, to surf, and make sure I'm not going to hit by a car either. And when we go to the beaches, you have your choice from, ones that are a little more rocky to white sandy beaches as well, and so much room to go and check out these places. Carlsbad, because it is located up in North County, a distance from San Diego, it's not quite as busy. So, the beaches are a little more open. Parking is a little easier to find. Now, taking a lunch walk right now with the dog on a trail, normally I would see more people. I've only seen a handful just because it is a little warmer out. But for the most part, here in Carlsbad, the parks, the trails, the beaches are really open and accessible. It's harder to find a con about that, other than if you have a specific interest in hiking, really aggressive, mountain terrain. If you're coming from the mountains, that's not our trails here. If you're a surfer and you want a reef break, and just can't stand beach breaks, well then, yeah, you're probably going to be traveling outside of Carlsbad, if you want to have that type of break. But overall, yeah, I mean, a ton of fun. And if you're inland, you're not even dealing with any of that fog that's in the morning near the coast. So the third thing I would say is education. The city of Carlsbad, the district itself has a phenomenal public school program, one of the best in the state. And I'm a little bit biased because my wife does work for them. They've kind of set the bar for, like I said, the county and the state as far as public school goes. And this falls into my cons category, is that with the great schools, you just need to be strategic on where you're living to make sure you're taking advantage of the Carlsbad district schools. And I say that because you may be in a Carlsbad neighborhood, but your children's elementary school is zoned for an Encinitas district that's just south of Carlsbad. Likewise, you could be over in the east area of Carlsbad and have your child going to a Carlsbad elementary or middle school, and they're going to be feeded into San Marcos High School district. So again, really important to know what you're getting into, where you're living, why you're choosing that neighborhood. And I guess that quick transition into real estate itself. So many different types of neighborhoods, whether they're condos, townhomes, master planned communities that are throughout most of Carlsbad, except for old Carlsbad, the downtown Carlsbad that you want to check out that video we go a little more in depth on. That's more custom homes and obviously much older homes as well. So a lot of variety there. But again, it comes back to what do you want to be near? What type of neighborhoods do you want to be in? And you know, what do you need if you have kids, you have families, you know, where do you want your kids to be going to school? The other thing people talk about is tourists and how tourists, you know, they fill up the beaches, they cause extra traffic. I don't, you know, in the summer, it's a bit of a madhouse, but it's the summer. And I guess I've always, I mean, if we're talking about San Diego as a region or as a full county and the traffic that's caused by all the extra holiday traffic coming down to San Diego, towards the San Diego metro area, towards all the beaches in the summer and during holidays, I think that can, you know, that can be seen as a definite con, just because, yeah, you know, if you're living here full time, you're going to have to deal with that during those seasons and during those months. But here in Carlsbad, I feel like you're far enough away from the San Diego proper where if you want, you can take side streets. You can take, you know, El Camino Real Boulevard and not even get on the 5 freeway. And not even get into that mess, you know, if you're not, you know, focused on a commute, which less and less people are now after the pandemic, and you know, taking your kid to swim meets, taking your son to soccer practice, stuff like that. It's a lot easier if you're not having to get on the freeway. So I tend to go back and forth on whether tourism has had a massive benefit or a massive, you know, con against being here in Carlsbad, because I just quite frankly don't see a big difference. And then I would say the last thing to talk about is really just price. I heard someone say that Carlsbad was one of the more expensive areas to either, you know, vacation at or be living in. And I guess if you're comparing it to all of San Diego County, then yes, it's a little spendy. You know, if you're buying a house, you know, houses have a little more land here. You know, there's a lot of beach communities that demand a lot of money, and you know, just everything going on comes with its own price tag, and is a little slightly spendier, but compared to the rest of Southern California, the rest of California in general, I just feel like Carlsbad is a deal for what you get for the money you're spending and what you're getting in return. So, I mean, that could be anywhere from the school system to how well Carlsbad, you know, provides trails like this. It's just a really well-run city, and I think it's worth a bit more than some of the other areas, you know, around the county. So if this was helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button, tap that bell. If you will have other questions about Carlsbad, put that in the comments below. And after I've had a shower, and I'm glad you can't smell my my sweat on here. It is warm. Anyways, catch you next video. Adios.